Auburn picked up a pair of young USF wide receivers, and I think their path to playing time is actually kind of fascinating.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Lindsay, Crosby of the Barn Auburn hanging out with us for a few minutes. We'll talk about, hey, don't panic yet. We also had some solid names and pieces announced that they were coming back. There's a tight end to watch, and it seems like Auburn, I don't know if they're the favorite, but they're in a prime spot to land. I think he's perfect for what Alex Golesh wants to do and what Auburn needs in the tight end room. But let's start with a few of the names that Auburn has added through the transfer portal. And full disclosure, Lindsay and I are recording this at 7 p.m. on Sunday. If there's more stuff that breaks throughout the night, that will already be up in the feed. So this show is going to be focused primarily on Christian Neptune and Kory Pettigrew. Kory Pettigrew will be a redshirt freshman this upcoming season. Christian Neptune will be a true sophomore this season. Lindsay, they use Christian Neptune more, almost exclusively in the slot. And I think it's interesting because this staff clearly likes both of these guys, but I don't think these are additions for the 2026 season. I think they are depth pieces for the 2026 season. Maybe Neptune can compete for reps at the slot, but I think they're far from done, and they're probably far from done from adding even USF wide receivers.
Yeah, it's at a certain point, you kind of needed some bodies back there. And I do think that this is, yes, they're bodies. Neptune could be more in year one, but they're guys who this coaching staff's already familiar with. They already know the offense. And so this is the best possible scenario if you need some depth and future contributors are guys that can help with installs in the spring, guys who, if you bring in Byron Brown, they already have a little bit of rapport with the quarterback. I don't hate this addition. Like you said, I do think they've got more coming probably from USF as well, but Golesh recruited these guys for a reason. And he has a better idea on these guys, how they fit in the offense versus some random receiver that's transferring from a directional Michigan school or something. So Perfectly fine with it. And like you said, maybe Neptune can fight with Bryce Cain for slot snaps in year one. I'm assuming Bryce Cain's the slot guy. I don't know, but
yes,
maybe he can fight in year one for snaps with Bryce Cain.
Yes. And Bryce Cain announced that he was coming back. We've heard early on that the staff likes Bryce Cain. I guess that was somewhat confirmed over the weekend. You know, there's been a lot of Auburn fans that are very excited about several USF guys that have entered the portal. One of those guys is Jeremiah Koger, one of the more productive wide receivers in USF's offense last year. And when you look at the rankings in South Florida's 2025 recruiting class, Christian Neptune, according to 247, is the second highest rated player in that class. But as a slot, it's just kind of a different role than some of these other guys. And once again, we've talked about Alex Golesh's offense is a lot of it is those wide sets by the receiver so you can open up more inside. Some of the opportunities just going to be a little bit different with some of these receivers. But when you look at Neptune's production, played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, played in 10 games and 11 if you count the bowl game, which he played a ton in the bowl game, 57 snaps just at the slot in the bowl game. But of his 421 offensive snaps, 331 were from the slot. 420 total snaps. 20 were out wide, and then 15 were on kick return, 28 were on punt returns. I mean, this is primarily a slot guy and what Golesh wants to do.
Yeah, and to your point on Koger, 6'3", 209, different body style. He was 476 snaps out wide out of the 549 total that he had. Again, as of time of recording, not committed to Auburn or anything, just comparison's sake here, different positions. The thing that when you kind of look at what Neptune did,
Yeah.
it feels like the change of direction was really kind of the big deal there, that he was able to find space. Like this offense is set up wide splits, so with receivers, so you can have a lot of room in the middle to maneuver with the ball, for your running backs. But these slot guys can also take advantage of that. If I remember from reading the scouting profiles right, he's got pretty decent speed. So being able to get almost something like a deep cross, there's a lot of options here. And I do feel like Golesh probably has an idea of the good ways to use him, because he just had him for an entire season. And while he didn't use him a ton, we still saw him. He ran 220 something routes. And, in the bowl game, was it like, I think it was 10 yards of reception in the bowl game, so it's not just all short stuff. During the season, a lot of his production that he had, small stuff, but a lot of it was short. He got some big plays in the bowl game and 10 yards of reception there.
It's just crazy when I saw the initial tweet or report, whoever it was from, 38 catches, 335 yards receiving last year. And I'm like, okay. And then I started thinking, okay, so I went to look. He was 5th in receiving at USF, and he would have been 4th with us. I mean, the drop off from Malcolm Simmons to him would not have been that crazy. So it's just such a different offense, such a different level of production.
Statistical drop off.
Yeah,
we don't know from a raw skill perspective if he can replace Malcolm Simmons' raw skills, but from a statistical,
I'm just talking about like production. It's just they had so many guys like be a part of this receiver rotation as far as getting receptions and getting yardage. It's just a different. I don't know. The stats are just different for sure.
What I feel really good about too with him, just real quick, is a lot of his production. He was successful against some of the better teams on their schedule. He had 5 catches against Florida. He had 7 catches against Miami. Like, it wasn't just beating up on your North Texas and your FAU. Neptune, yeah. He was able to get a lot of stuff done against the quality teams on their schedule that are closer to the type of talent you're going to face in the SEC every single week. So that makes me feel better about the ability for this to translate up a level.
Yep. And then you look at Kory Pettigrew. He just had 3 catches for 28 yards. Pretty much all of his offensive snaps were out wide. 50 of his snaps were out wide. He had 1 snap in the slot, 2 snaps in line, and then 2 snaps in the backfield where they probably like motioned him across or something. But just not a lot of playing time. Not a lot of playing time for him. And I think the path to playing time for him is significantly tougher, I think, than the path for Neptune. And some of that is assuming on who they're going to bring in as well, even from USF. It's interesting. Like Keyshawn Singleton, who wasn't really in the portal until yesterday. The way USF has handled this has been just fascinating.
Golly.
But you look at Keyshawn Singleton, Jeremiah Kroger, and then Chaz Nimrod, who was their 4th receiver when it comes to production, which is an awesome name. But Auburn picked up a crystal ball for him yesterday as well. And it's just kind of amazing to think about 4 of their top 5 receivers from last year are either with Auburn now or projected to go to Auburn at the time of this conversation.
Can we talk about the link that Jeremiah Koger has with Auburn's coaching staff outside of the USF guys?
Yes, I don't think I know it.
He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He was the number 1 recruit in the state of Maryland in his class. And so there's the Durkin connection of Durkin was heavily involved, obviously coached at Maryland. And I guarantee you he wasn't actively recruiting Koger because of the timing of it, but aware of him, probably met him once or twice and knows coaches.
The Maryland pipeline lives on with DJ Durkin. That's cool.
Also, I did check on the USF website. It's Koger. And I've heard a lot of people, and I get it in Alabama, saying Kroger, like the store. It's Koger.
Right.
They have him pronouncing his own name. You're good on this. I've heard a lot of people on other shows, lower quality, getting this wrong. It's not Kroger. It's Koger.
I initially thought it was Kroger as well. But yep, Koger for sure. Should Kroger reach out for an NIL deal? Possibly.
That would be really smart on their part.
I think there's something there. There is a tight end that has been linked to Auburn that I think is perfect. He could be a
want him.
perfect addition.
I want
That's
him.
next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Lindsay, Fridays already feel different during the basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the game, they've got NBA Happy Hour.
Ooh.
NBA Happy Hour, your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action gets going. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. You can browse their inventory online, KiaAutosportColumbus.com, or Lindsay, you can go see them in person. Right off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. If you're in the market for a car and you're in the state of Auburn or state of Alabama,
that was a good ad campaign for a while that Auburn had.
It was.
State of Auburn.
It was. I wish we could have backed it up better than we did. Yeah, I think we had real momentum there. But regardless, if you're in the market for a vehicle, go check them out. If you mention show Locked On Auburn, you get $500 off any new Kia. And I know it works because people have reached out. People are doing it. You should be next. KiaAutosportColumbus.com, or go see them in person. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Auburn's been tied to Randy Pittman Jr., the tight end from Florida State. I was actually having a conversation with Brian Smith, who I'm sure will come on later this week to talk about a lot of things, including Randy Pittman. He hosts Locked On Seminoles as well as Locked On the Portal. And you look at production, and it's so easy to look at box scores. Yeah. 23 catches for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns last year. But this guy's versatility and athleticism allows him to line up all over the field, Lindsay. And just for folks who maybe aren't everydayers, like the Alex Golesh offense, the tight end is so crucial because they want to run tempo. And in order to run tempo successfully, you don't sub. And so you want a tight end who can be a slot, who could be attached to the line, who can play H-back, who could do all of these different things. And Randy Pittman Jr., the FSU tight end from a season ago, he can absolutely do that for you.
Hey, fun fact, Zach. You mentioned all the different places the tight end needs to play in an Alex Golesh offense. Yes. Randy Pittman Jr. happened to do all of those last year. He had
Tell me about it.
53 snaps out wide. He had 250 in the slot, 217 as an inline blocker. He was lined up 88 times in the backfield as an H-back, kind of fullback role. And he had 6 snaps at quarterback. And not only did he have 6 snaps at quarterback, he has a 100% completion percentage and a touchdown.
Just a reminder, his OC last year was Gus Malzahn.
So there you go. So
maybe they did the Cox cat with Randy Pittman. We need to look into that.
The Pitt cat. Yeah, that'd make a lot of sense at Florida State. Randy cat. There you go. I really hope that Gus was telling about what a great school Auburn was, flashing the rings and all of that stuff to kind of help us out here. Gus, if you did that, I will send you a Waffle House gift card as a thank you. If Randy says you did that in his interview, I'll send you a Waffle House gift card. Listen, Auburn hasn't had an all-around guy who could do everything like this in a long time. I feel like, especially the last couple seasons, your tight ends have been either this guy is here to catch passes, this guy is here to block. And Pittman,
yeah, because some people are going to say Rivaldo Fairweather, but I don't think Rivaldo was a great blocker.
Yeah, Rivaldo Fairweather was very much like he was definitely needed to catch passes, and that's what he did. And if you look at, I think it was it his final season there in 24, most of his snaps were as a receiver. He was lined up,
right. Because then they had, was Deal kind of the blocking tight end?
Yeah. Deal was almost predominantly an H-back. Frazier was a blocker who came in the goal line because he was 6'7", 6'8", whatever it was.
Yeah.
Massive.
No, man. You're right. And so I think Randy Pittman is going to be asked to do some different things Do I think Rivaldo would have been awesome in this Golesh offense? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. But that's sadly not how it works. So Randy Pittman Jr., definitely a guy to keep an eye on and to celebrate if he does pick the Auburn Tigers.
And another note on him real quick
Sure.
is his best performances as a blocker came against the SEC schools he faced, against Alabama, against Florida. So like he has the physical frame. He's only 240, but he has the frame and the technique to do all of those things that we need effectively.
And also, for what it's worth, when we're talking about the tight end position, Ryan G confirmed that he's staying over the weekend, which is exciting.
Love that.
And of course, DJ Broughton was in one of the Instagram posts that Auburn football made. He's all moved in. He's ready to go. He's a student athlete. So Ryan G, DJ Broughton, we'll see if they can add Randy Pittman Jr. or other guys to be a part of this. I think they'll add 2 would be my guess. I'd honestly like more, but I think they'll add 2.
Pittman and somebody else. And yeah, I'd love a third one, but I think it's a tough sell to get both freshmen and 3 other tight ends.
But I think you can get 2 upperclassmen, which Pittman would be that. This would be his 4th season with substantial playing time. So there you go.
Yeah, he's draft eligible. It says 2027 on.
I think he's draft eligible now. He's played 3 seasons. So
yeah, I'm confused how
but obviously that's not happening.
How they get that, but snap counts are what PFF's most useful for, unless it confirms your priors.
Sure, that's right. Hey, don't panic yet. Don't panic. If there's so many people messaging me, can I panic now? Can I panic now?
That's all me.
Hold on. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time is the best place to buy tickets for anything, Lindsay. If it's for football, or basketball, for baseball, which will be here before you know it. You're the baseball guy.
Yep.
Concerts. You're also a big concert guy.
Yep.
All at Game Time. Download the free Game Time app. It's like 2 or 3 taps, especially after you buy a few and it kind of already knows what you're like going in there for to buy or to browse for. The app just gets better the more that you use it. I also love that all the fees are calculated up front, so you're not like blasted when you go to checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. I don't want anyone to panic. I don't think we're there yet. If we're there by Wednesday, you can do whatever you want. You can do absolutely whatever you want. I think some of the weekend might have been thrown off by how long USF took to process the papers and get guys officially into the portal, which is such crap. It's such crap. I'm fine with the fans talking stupid crap to Auburn. I'm fine with all that. But when the university does stuff to impact the student athletes' lives who came to make that program and are leaving the program better than they found it, that is crap, Lindsay, that USF and how USF has handled the opening part of the portal.
I'm going to call it Bush League, and it's pretty disappointing. Like, it's not like you're being surprised with these announcements on Friday and Saturday. You knew a lot of these guys were entering. There was 1 or 2 that legitimately didn't say anything until the weekend, but a lot of them you've known they're going. But you have officially, I think you have, 48 hours to get everything in, and they took every minute of those 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumor that Byron Brown was in Auburn, but he had to hang out and wait until his stuff was officially in the portal so he could legally feels like the wrong word here, but be within the rules to go and meet with Auburn. Keyshawn Singleton didn't hit until Sunday.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Do you think, and again, time of recording, it's almost 7:30 now on Sunday night. Do you think as of now, the reason that we haven't seen a Byron Brown commitment to Auburn yet is simply because the whole process started late because of that?
I don't know. My gut to that says no. And my reasoning and my thought process there is if they wanted to get the announcement out today or Sunday, they would have, assuming that they haven't done it yet. If they wanted to get it out by a certain point, they could have. I mean, what do they need to go over? If there's still like money to discuss or whatever, like maybe. I just can't imagine that being not decided at this point. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting to get a bunch of the guys done at once to kind of do some joint announcement thing with Byron and maybe some of the USF guys. I don't know.
Or let me bug for a second. Maybe they want to do some sort of joint announcement of Byron as the quarterback in 27 and Deuce coming back and being his successor and have them announced together. That's so like out of nowhere.
That bug would be
wouldn't that be awesome? That would be fantastic. I don't think
that would
that's
be insane.
Happen. Like, but that's the thing we've learned from some of these guys is they have announced they're going in the portal, but they can come back. Some of these guys have burned their bridges, but a lot of guys.
Sam Turner over the weekend.
Exactly.
He was in the portal, chose to come back, which is big.
The door's not closed on all of these guys. Some of these guys have kind of, burned their bridges and talked a little trash, and they're not going to come back. But we saw Sam Turner. Maybe Deuce comes back. Maybe he realizes that reportedly the money they were offering him to sit and learn was really good, and it only takes one injury from this running quarterback in Byron Brown to put you.
He got hurt 2 years ago. You definitely need a backup for sure, and Deuce would be great. I would believe that when I see it, but that would be fun. That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
This staff doesn't care. Like Hugh Freeze and his staff, they would have had it out by now.
Yeah.
I don't think this staff cares about that, and I'm not going to fault them for that.
But I think you could probably argue we've learned that maybe Hugh Freeze and staff were overpaying a little bit to get those early commitments so they could put it out. Maybe the difference here is it's
probably true.
More realistic offer and deal that they're in the process of getting done, and maybe that's why it's not announcing 5 minutes after the portal opens.
That's probably true.
The Hugh Freeze staff would have done.
Let's go through a few names that announced they're returning over the weekend.
Okay.
Sam Turner, we just mentioned, entered the portal. He's back. Ryan G mentioned he's coming back. Hill Ellis mentioned he's coming back, which is not a shocker. Anyone else that I haven't done a show about that it's
announced? Did you do a show about the defensive guys? I missed some of that over the weekend.
Yeah.
Some of the young defenders.
Yeah. Malik Autry, Jordan Crawford, Jared Smith, Elijah Melendez, Bryce Diaz, DeMarcus Riddick, Xavier Atkins, Eric Winters, New Boy Fagans, Blake Woodby. Those are all the guys who have announced that I've seen. And then they got Hudson Powell from Miami of Ohio, a long snapper in the transfer portal.
Hey, I mean, I've always said when your very first portal commitment can be a long snapper.
Second.
Yeah, just let me go with my narrative here.
The first was a USF quarterback, just not the guy, not the
one we wanted. A third or fourth stringer, yeah. You're definitely like there. Here's my barn colored glasses. This Alex Golesh staff is literally trying to fix every single hole on the roster in one offseason through the portal by spending time to find a new long snapper for 2026. Listen,
I think that's a great narrative to push. I'm here for it.
Like, listen, we have lived way too long without an Auburn guy even being a finalist for the Patrick Manley Award. I don't even care if you win it. I just need Auburn to have a finalist for the Patrick Manley Award.
Well, when you talk about long snappers and the connection between long snapper and punter, what's more important in that connection than having the same first name? Hudson Cock? Hudson Powell?
Listen, like
that's not checkers, my guy.
They're fated to be a goated battery in 2026 because they have that sort of cerebral connection that you can only manufacture in early January when you are desperate for content.
No, I think we're there. I think we're there for sure. Lindsay, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball. If you're looking for pro baseball, bravestoday.com, the Braves Today podcast, ton of interaction on that. But had a couple meetings the last couple days about the Barn Baseball Show, which we're bringing back for season 2. That'll get started in a couple weeks over at thebarnauburn.com.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. And if you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe and leave us a review. And if you haven't already, please consider joining the Everydayer Club. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked on Auburn ad-free, plus members only Discord access and more. Head to the link in the episode description down below for more information and to sign up. Would love to have you. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.